Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Scott, and today we're going to be painting the Emperor's Champion. This model comes from the new Black Templar Army box set that was recently released by Games Workshop. Now, it's a very fun model. I really love the Crusader look on Space Marines. I think it looks really good. And the black armor turned out great on this model, at least compared to black armor I've done in the past. So let's go ahead and dive into how I've painted this model. To start this model off, I've primed it with Chaos Black spray primer from Citadel. Now the first thing we're going to do with this model is take Abaddon Black, and we're going to paint this on all the armor panels of the Space Marine. Now this is a darker black than the black we used for the primer, and it's going to give us a smoother finish, which is going to be a little more glossy, and it gives us the look that we want for Black Templar armor. Once that color is dried, we're going to take Dark Reaper, and we're going to do an edge highlight on all the armor panels of the Marine. Now this can be a thicker edge highlight because we are going to do another layer of highlighting over it. So it's okay if you don't get it quite perfect. And you're also going to add a couple little scratches going up some of the armor panels as you see fit. Now once that color's done, we're going to take Fenrisian Gray. We're going to do a second edge highlight. This one's going to be finer than the first one. And you don't necessarily have to do this everywhere. You can just focus on the areas where the light catches the most on this model. I'm also going to do a few scratches on the chest plate and on a couple of the armor panels using this color. Now once that's dried, we're going to take Dawnstone. We're going to use this to edge highlight all of the undersuit that shows up between the different panels of armor on the model. This can be around the waist, the neck, and any of the joints, so like the armpits, the knees. You want to pick all of this out. Now that we've done that, we're going to begin working on his tabard. And to do this, we're going to start with Rakarth Flesh. We're going to paint this all over the tabard. Now be careful not to get this on your black armor, because it is going to really mess up the armor that we've just done. Now we're going to take Mournfang Brown, and we're going to use this to paint the belt and any of the leather straps that are spread across the model. Now there are straps on the sides of his leg panels, as well as on the sides of the chest panel. So make sure you look the model over and figure out where all these straps are located. Now once both of those colors have dried, we're going to use Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to wash this all over both the cream color that we did before and the brown straps that we just painted. You can go as heavy or as light as you'd like with this. On the tabard, we're actually going to be painting over a lot of it with white, so you don't need to go super heavy. Now we're going to take Pallid Witch Flesh. We're going to paint this on the tabard, focusing on all the more raised surfaces. We're going to leave the darkened recesses of the model, and we're not going to pick those out with this color because we want to have that contrast between light and dark. Now once we've done that, we're going to do an additional highlight using White Scar, and we're going to focus just on the very most raised surfaces of the tabard at this point. Now with that all done, we're going to bring Agrax Earthshade out again, and this time we're going to pull it up at the base of the tabard. And then we're going to take and get some water in our brush. We're going to just gradually drag the Agrax Earthshade towards the top of the tabard. And if we've done this right, the color should blend into the white. So at the top of the tabard it's white, and at the bottom it's dirty and brown. Now with that all done, we're going to take Ulthuan Grey. We're going to paint this on the shoulder pads of the Templar. Now this is a rather chalky color, so make sure you use either water or medium to get this watered down to the right consistency so that you get a smooth finish. With that all done, we'll take white scar, we're going to do an additional highlight, but we're not going to go all the way up to the edges with this color. We're going to just focus on the center of the armor panels. And once again, this is a very chalky color, so make sure you use some good medium and get it to a smooth consistency before you paint this on. Now that we're done with the tabard, we're going to take Averland Sunset and we're going to paint this on the little lamp that's hanging off of the Templar's belt. Once that's dried, we're going to use Cassandura Yellow. We're going to shade this all over the yellow we just painted. And you want to go nice and heavy with this. Now while that shade is drying, we're going to take Baneblade Brown, and we're going to paint this on all of the edges of the belts and leather straps that we painted on the model previously. Now we're going to take Leadbelcher, and we're going to paint this on all of the silver details on the model. This is going to include the sword, the lamp hanging from his belt, all the buckles on his belt, and the charm or necklace that he is holding in his hand. And once that's dried, we're going to take Contrast Basilicanum Gray. We're going to wash this really heavily on the blade of the sword, to the point that the sword is going to take on the appearance of being black. We're also going to wash this on all of the other metal parts, but we're going to do a much thinner coat, trying to make sure that that metal color still shows through. Now we're going to take Runelord Brass. We're going to paint this on the crossguard and the rest of the hilt of the sword. Once that brass has dried, we're going to take Seraphim Sepia. We're going to put this as a wash on all of the stuff we just painted with the brass. This is going to kind of turn it into a brighter color, give it a little bit more of a yellow-brown tint to it. We're also going to put this on the wreath that's around the helmet of the Templar. And once that's done, we're going to take Stormhost Silver, and we're going to edge highlight the blade and any of the silver details that we've done on the model. We're also going to highlight the crossguard, and we're also going to pick out any of the rivets in his armor with this color. Now with that all done, we're going to use Mephiston Red. We're going to begin painting the Purity Seal that's coming off of the Templar's Power Pack. There's also a few details on the front. He has a crest shield that sits on his left shoulder pad. We're going to paint half of that with red as well. With that red in place, it's now time to shade it, and we're going to use Carberg Crimson to do this. Now when we do the shield plate on the front, we're not going to shade the whole thing, we're only going to shade the center of the panel. But when we get around to the Purity Seal on the back, you want to go heavy and just go all over. The heavier the better, because we want to really have a lot of contrast between the different parts of the banner. Now we're going to take Evil Sun Scarlet, and we're going to edge highlight the Purity Seals and the shield plate. Now this can be a thicker edge highlight because we are going to do another finer highlight over this. Once that's done, we're going to use Wild Rider Red, and we're going to do a very fine edge highlight on all of the red surfaces of this model. We're also going to do a few scratches on the shield plate on the front to make it look a little bit weathered. Now when you do the Purity Seals, you want to only pick out the most raised surfaces where the light would catch the most on the model. Now for this model, I chose to apply a transfer from the transfers that were included in the box set. Now to do this, you first apply a drop of water to the surface where you're going to put the transfer. While you're doing that, your transfer should be soaking in water separately until the transfer separates from the paper it's on. Once you've got the transfer on the model, you'll use your paintbrush to position the transfer how you want it, and then once you've got it where you want it, you use your paintbrush to absorb the excess water and just let it dry like that. Once all the water has dried up, you're going to take the matte varnish of your choice, and you're going to paint this over the transfers. This will seal it in, and it's going to get rid of the glossy effect from where the transfer is versus where the model's normal paint scheme's at. Now, it's always a good idea to put varnish over your entire model when you're done with it. And with that, we've finished this model. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit that like button, and then subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos. And then comment and let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future. Whether there's a specific painting technique or a specific model you'd like to see. Let me know, and we'll see what I can do. See you next time. Have a great day.